Hello everyone and welcome back to Wendy's Way. This morning when I was going through the freezer trying to figure out what to do with some things, how to plan meals for the day and so on, I came across a bag of frozen ground cherries and it was the only one in there. It's one Ziploc bag, there's probably 3 or 4 cups in the bag. And so I just chucked it out on the counter this morning and looked up a recipe on cooks.com. That's one of my favorite sources for recipes, by the way. Man, they have anything you can even imagine, contributed by people like us. So, anyhow, I hope you'll join me this journey in food that we're on. I'm going to make a video on my first attempt at making ground cherry jam. Yeah, must be jam, because you leave all the pulp and the seeds and everything in it. So I hope you'll join me on our journey in food, making ground cherry jam. Like I said, I got this recipe off cooks.com. The recipe itself and the ingredients couldn't be, well, there it goes. Couldn't be much more simple. And I will type the recipe in the description of the video, since obviously it's not working to pause it there. Anyway, all we're looking at is water, ground cherries, lemon juice, sugar, and pectin or Sure gel. And I'm going to go ahead and get this started, and I'll come back and let you know as I move along. Basically, the recipe calls for 3 cups of ground cherries, 1/4 cup of lemon juice, 1/2 cup water, a package of Sure gel, and 3 cups of sugar. And yeah, supposed to make 3 medium jars. I have no idea what they call a medium jar. I'm going to get out my little 1/2 pint jars and make as many as it'll make. Probably not that, maybe 3 of those. We will see. Cook it and smash it, and away we go. I'll be back shortly once I get it all cooking in the pan. Okay, I put the water and the ground cherries and the lemon juice and the Sure gel in the pot, and I brought it to a boil for a little over a minute. And the recipe says to put the Sure gel in up front. The Sure gel box says to wait until later. So who knows? I may have a ground cherry sauce again. I've always had trouble with pectin. Anyhow, it also says to smash the ground cherries well so that they will soak up all the sugar that you're going to throw in there. And I could probably break out an immersion blender, but I don't feel like it. And I like my jam thick and chunky. I want to see what kind of fruit is in it. I don't want it to be a puree. So, I kind of prefer a marmalade, but I guess a marmalade has peel and everything else in it, maybe. It's kind of a citrus thing. Alright. I'm getting about there, I think. I've used my old, it's not old, a metal one would be old, plastic or nylon tater masher. Enough, I think, in the ground cherries. I have, don't look at my dirty cooktop, I've gotten out 1/2 dozen 1/2 pint jars. And, it says to put them in the jars and let them sit on the counter for 24 hours. Well, if you aren't worried about them sealing, if you're willing to just throw them in the refrigerator and use them up, that's all well and good. And then you'd want to heat your jars and so on. I'm going to hot water bath my ground cherry jam because I want the jars to seal. And I want to be able to put them in my pantry or give them away as a gift. And so I looked up in my food preservation Bible. It's called the Ball Complete Book of Home Preserving. And it told me hot water bath for jam is 10 minutes. Covered. So I broke out a nice pot that I got at a flea market, so I don't have to break out the whole great big thing for just half a dozen jars, if I even get that many filled. And I'm going to do that. I'll bring you back once I get the sugar added and get these in the jars. All right. Well, I got 5 very full half-pint jars of ground cherry jam. And it looks like right now my ground cherries want to float. I did go ahead and break out the vinegar, not only to wipe the lids of the jars to make sure that the rubber gasket seals on there, because there's so much sugar, of course. And also I added it to my pot of water, and that way the jars will remain clean while they are canned and they won't come out cloudy. Okay, I'm going to put my lids on, get them in the canner, make sure they are covered with water, bring them to a boil, process for 10 minutes, and then turn off the heat and wait a few minutes and pull them out of the canner and throw them back on the towel. I'll catch up to you in a little bit. I know no one else cares, but I just think this is the cutest little pot I've ever had. You know, it's just the right size. I could be canning more, obviously, than 5 little jars of jam in this pot, or you could use it to make pasta to feed a tribe. Anyhow, it's soft yellow, you know, and it came with a lid to match. I mean, obviously it's been loved. You know, some of the paint is rubbed a bit on the bottom, but it has no leaks. I tried it out to make sure, because I bought it at a flea market. You know, and even though Craig, my buddy, is the one that I bought it from, he doesn't know whether it's got any tiny little pinholes in the bottom of it, because he never used it. You know, he's a flea marketer. He finds them or buys them and resells them himself. That's what the man do. Anyhow, I just wanted to show you my pretty little pot. I think it's awesome. I have put my 5 half pints of jam in the pot, and I brought the water level up over the top of their lids, not by a lot, maybe 1/4 inch. And now I will bring the pot up to a good boil, set my timer for 10 minutes, and we'll go from there. I'll see you soon. Me and my pretty little pot, we'll be right back. Okay, gonna finish off this video on our ground cherry jam. I've learned another lesson today. I was thinking about maybe not even releasing this video, but you know what? You gotta share the good with the bad. You have to show people that you're human, and sometimes stuff just doesn't turn out quite right. I think the issue is, well, I'm pectin challenged. This I know. But the problem is I read a recipe out of a book. It doesn't give a specific name or type of pectin. And I follow the directions on the recipe instead of on the box. On the box of pectin that I used, it said I should add the pectin after I've cooked the fruit and added the sugar. On the recipe that I took offline, it said I should add the pectin right away and cook it with the fruit. So, I'll have a picture after this of all the jars of jam. The positive thing is that every jar sealed. That's a beautiful thing, because I did hot water bath them. The problem is I have ground cherry sauce instead of ground cherry jam. And that causes the fruit to float instead of mixing throughout. But you know what? It'll taste good. I bet there's a ton of things you can put ground cherry sauce on, like ice cream or cake or, who knows. Anyhow, that is our journey in food for today. I am so glad that you chose to join me. I pray that the good Lord who blesses me each and every day of my life blesses you as well, today and always. Amen.